Already facing the challenge, the Gala stealth, no suppressors, reinforced cameras, and hidden detection bars. Which, I mean, it's not really great since ideally to get rid of the cameras, we wouldn't have reinforced cameras so that we can actually get into the camera operator room. But aside from that, there's no suppressors, which is a bit unfortunate. And then finally, there's hidden detection bars, which overall just isn't really that great, but all in all, it should generally be fine, so we're just gonna look out and see if it's... Well, I mean, that does make it simple. That's completely insignificant. We can instead just go through here, run all the way through here, consider going inside over there. Except that there's a camera, so we're not going to. And then as Cyber figures it out over here, we're gonna have that happen. And then whenever Cyber feels ready, presumably the door opens, but then again, if it doesn't, that works as well. Which, I mean, absolutely no one's gonna notice. So whilst that happens, we're just gonna crack the safe. I mean, there's not really a reason not to, so we really just might as well. So we're just gonna crack the safe open, grab the vault keycard, and then move along. At least that's how it's supposed to work. But presumably, at some point in the future, we're gonna get a good disguise, which, I mean, that does make it quite convenient. So I'll most definitely take that, but who knows, if we got a keycard, that'll be even better, but unfortunately, that's not quite happening right now. And then the crowbar's there, which does make everything so much better. But for now, what we're gonna need to do is just interrogate a lot of stuff. Since we kind of need a code to actually do, well, literally anything in this, so that might be something that we want to figure out right around now. Which means that we're gonna start by finding the keypad, right then? I suppose that works. But we would also want to find the power box, which will be vaguely somewhere around, not over here, perhaps over here, which it isn't. But perhaps it'll be just somewhere. Just at some location that is just not really that obvious, but... Well, I mean, if it isn't obvious, I don't know what this is. Keep moving. So we can finally disable this. You're not gonna care, and I can just run all the way past, and then finally start working on presumably helping out with interrogating staff, which so far, presumably, hasn't been happening, which I suppose isn't exactly great, but we can lockpick it, then we can get a gun out, then we can interrogate people, because there's 1 here, 2 here, and 3 there. Which, I mean, does work out quite well, but unfortunately there's not a 4th, which would be actually in that room. So hopefully, one of them's gonna have the code, and it won't be the second one, since it's clearly not the first. And presumably, Cyber's gonna show up, but if that doesn't happen, then there's not really a choice that we have, so... Well, we've gotta stick to it. But unfortunately, it's not any of them, which means that we're gonna have to knock all of them out, and then promptly deal with all of them. Through a rather inconvenient method, so... Whilst we bag everyone up, send them over here, and then literally just leave everything right outside the door, we're just gonna try and hopefully... Well, if that isn't convenient, I don't know what is. Which is a perfect time to go over here. Have that happen to us. Get another vault keycard out of nowhere. And then afterwards, presumably, disable it. After whatever that was, which I mean, it probably would have helped to actually check, but presumably it's all just fine, so it's not like we really have to care that much. Even though, quite frankly, we probably should. So we're gonna go over here, we're gonna back everyone up, and once it's all cleaned up, we can finally start working on clearing the rest of the building. And probably getting ourselves a keycard since, well, we still don't actually have a keycard, and I would quite actually like a keycard. So as we grab every single other bag, we're just gonna leave it all over here. Grab the remaining bags, leave it all over here. Grab the final bag, mark the keycard, which we're gonna completely miss. Then just drop it over there, and then afterwards just start working on doing the mission. I mean, that's kind of how this works. As long as we don't avoid this, or more accurately, as long as we avoid whatever that is. So I'm just gonna take a detour since this seems like the better option, and perhaps consider grabbing what I believe is the crowbar, which it is. So we're gonna grab it, and we're just gonna use the crowbar since, quite frankly, it's not really a bad method either. So we really might as well just make use of it. Which means we're gonna go through here, look out for any crates, and just start opening them. While Cyber Adventure's outside in front of all of the guards and all of the staff and all of the civilians, which I must imagine can only go well. So we're just gonna get everything open, we're gonna try to avoid getting caught, since this is kind of how this works, and then afterwards there should be one more. Or at least, nice to meet you, hello. Right then, we're just gonna go this way. And you're just going to not care at all, since that's apparently one method that works. But unfortunately, we've got one more crate that we have to find right now. And I'm not sure I can find it. Even though it's rather... Actually, there is that one very, very inconvenient spot, which might take a while, but I'm sure it'll be fine. All we have to do is just adventure all the way through here, all the way over here, and then finally get it open, through what is quite literally the most inconvenient way possible. So hopefully, Cyber doesn't immediately follow me with that artifact, but instead gives it a bit of time so that I don't actually immediately get caught by having someone else getting detected. Since quite obviously that would not be very, very good. So we're just gonna leave that there, run through here, and then figure out how we're gonna move, well, one of all of the 8 bags, which we're going to have to eventually move at some point in the future, which means that we should probably consider actually moving it. But since there's no one here right now, we're gonna grab it and we're just gonna run. I mean, it seems quite obvious at this point, but I mean, nothing can really be too obvious, so we're just gonna leave it there. Go back through here, run through here, and then afterwards there should be... Well, that's the last spot, that's for sure. We're gonna go through here. We're gonna avoid getting caught, we're gonna go through here, and we're gonna go to this rather peculiar spot, but in theory, all should be fine. As long as we do that for some absurd reason, but we're gonna grab it. You're not gonna care. And I'm just gonna run through here, or more accurately, nonchalantly walk through here. Which works out perfectly fine, and since the staff's gone, I can very much just trespass over here. Which seemingly is a more appealing route, but it doesn't really matter that much, does it? So now that Cyber has 2 more bags over there, and since we've presumably actually disabled the vault alarms, it might be time to actually consider getting this open. Which means it's time to go through here, all the way over here, to, well, quite obviously, get it open. Which means that we've got to grab a crowbar, we've got to go through here, we've got to avoid that guard over there, and of course we can walk through here even though it's probably not the best option. And as Cyber moves the final bags, we're just gonna go through here. Well, I suppose that works, and I now very, very much have a keycard. Which I will not complain about, but unfortunately, I still haven't actually opened a crate, which I should probably do right now. So we're gonna do exactly that while Cyber moves the remaining artifacts, which is happening right now. And then afterwards, as we grab the artifact, we're just gonna run, and it's all gonna go well. At least that's the plan, and that's kind of how every single plan goes, so who knows? It might not. But regardless, we're done with everything. And well, that's the daily challenge done in just under 8 minutes and 30 seconds. Cheers everyone, have a great time.